with this one. Please like, comment, out to the channel. Trying to see if some people gonna come on. Well, it don't look like I changed that, but it look like my phone going slow. But y'all see the title of the video. If Tyson Fury loses to Deontay Wilder, does that mean, is that proof that Tyson Fury cheated? It's been a lot of, accusations. No bias talk, no racism on this channel. I'm gonna break it down from my point of view, from what I understand. When you talk about the accusations, Wilder made accusations that the referee smelled like liquor. That he came to his dressing room talking to him, smelled drunk. He said that poisoned the water, or he was unloyal, did something wrong, and he had to fire Mark Breland. He said that the costume was too heavy, and that messed up his legs. Many more excuses that Wilder make. I gotta talk about the excuses. That wouldn't be right if I didn't talk about the excuses. All right, but I just brought the excuses. We're gonna talk about the fights when we saw them. All right, now if you go back, you talk about Wilder Fury 1. If you look at Wilder Fury 1, you look at the situation of the fight. Now, in my opinion, everybody got different opinions. They like escalades. But in my opinion, Tyson Fury was supposed to lose the first fight. Tyson Fury stood up at after the standing 8 count. He stood up at 9 going on 10. He should have got waved out, but that's neither here nor there. If you look at the fight, even though I feel Tyson Fury won the rounds, he was outboxing Wilder, he was knocked out. So if you go back and you look at the fight, Wilder was landing punches too. People act like Wilder wasn't landing punches in the first fight. So you look at that, yeah, that could have been a draw, besides the fact that Wilder really knocked him out. Now, you go look at the second fight. Now, the second fight was totally different. Now, anybody who say that wasn't different, that's a lie. And then one thing for Tyson Fury to come out and just tell the public his entire game plan from round 1. That just seems like too much confidence to me. I'm not, just think about what I'm saying. What fighter have you ever seen say, I'm going to come out from round 1 doing this one thing, and that's going to win the fight? Now, that's confidence like a motherfucker. Now, true enough, he seen that Wilder, he say he couldn't fight backing up, and he went at him like this or like that. But you have to think about that. How were you so confident? How were you so confident in that fight? I know it's all about, come on now, Horn. I know it's all about believing in yourself. You know what I'm saying? As a fighter, you had to believe in yourself and nobody else do. But at the same time, you literally gave your game plan out and you succeeded in that game plan. Now, this is something to talk about Mark Breland. Now, I'm not saying the accusation on Mark Breland was true, but this is all I'm saying. Mark Breland, they saying that Mark Breland is the one who switched the water up or gave Wilder the bad water. Now, you look on Fight Hype when they're talking about the predictions of who they think they're going to win that fight. Even Robert Garcia, a trainer, you can look on Fight Hype yourself if you don't believe me. Robert Garcia said himself, I don't know what the hell was up with Wilder. That didn't look like Wilder that night of that fight. Now, I just watched the preview and the clip of the first fight and the second fight. That did not look like Deontay Wilder in that fight. I mean, y'all know what I'm saying. That was him. But physically and mentally, someone right with Deontay Wilder. He looked like he was, like he had just got up off down and he ain't been knocked down yet. Like something was literally wrong with him. His movement, his body, the way he was fighting, something was literally wrong with him. And I'm not giving him no excuses, y'all. But if I seen it, many others seen it, even a boxer, even a trainer, and Robert Garcia is not black. Robert Garcia is not black. Robert Garcia himself said that didn't look like Wilder. Now, what if Mark Breland really did that? What if Mark Breland really did that? And I want to tell y'all this. Now, this real important. This just made me think about it. What if Mark Breland knew he did that shit, but he didn't want Wilder to get hurt real bad because he knew he had did that shit? So that's why he threw in that towel. Think about that. Everybody was saying Wilder was crazy. Think about that. You got to remember, Mark Breland, when this situation was first talked about, he didn't come to a U.S. A boxing channel in the U.S. or talk to anybody or get interviews from anybody in the U.S. of A. Mark Breland went overseas to the U.K. and did his first interview. He went overseas and did his first interview about this situation. He didn't stay in America and talk about it. What were you doing over in the UK? Now, I'm just wondering. I ain't saying he probably got houses. The man make money. He probably got houses and everything in the UK. But what were you doing in the UK after this situation? Were you going to pick up your money? People have to understand this, and even Mike Tyson has been saying this for years. Boxing is the dirtiest shit. The most dirtiest shit go under the table that you wouldn't even imagine. So what is it to say that Mark Breland actually did that shit? Because if you go back and you look at the highlights of Wilder Fury 2, you clearly see someone right with Wilder. You clearly see one of them right with Wilder. And then the way of Mark Breland throwing in that towel, the way Wilder was looking like something was wrong with him, maybe Mark threw that towel in because he was fucking guilty and he didn't want Wilder to get hurt out there. See, money a motherfucker. While people saying about oh, Mark Breland wouldn't do that, Mark Breland saved all his money. Greed is a motherfucker. And ain't nobody living in Mark Breland's house to know if he got all his money or not. That's just hearsay. Now, I'm not saying Mark Breland is guilty, but I'm just saying think about that. Now, when it comes to, I look at it like this. When you playing basketball, this is how I know the NBA rigged and the rig. Y'all shouldn't bet no money on the NBA. If I could beat you 3 games straight, you may get a 1. You may win 1 game. But there's no way in hell if I could beat you 3 games straight, you can come back and beat me in a fucking series. I beat you 3 times straight. So if Fury, people saying that Fury won the first fight, and honestly, in my opinion, if you take the accusations out of it, Deontay Wilder got demolished the second fight. If you take the accusations and all the cheating and all that out of it, he got demolished. So what happens if he loses this fight, the third fight, Tyson Fury? Does that prove that Tyson Fury cheated? Now, the first fight, hands down, you can deny it. No bias talk, no racism. I get to you thorough, bro. If you sit up here and you say you didn't see that long ass arm and that glove hanging off Tyson Fury's hand, then you being biased or you being racist and you a liar to yourself. Because everybody in the world seen it. It wasn't a Photoshop. If you can actually sit up and say, oh, that I ain't see that glove like that. That glove went around his fist. When you could see when they removed the glove, his glove was white. I mean, his hand was white where the glove was cutting off circulation tied around this. You could clearly see what a glove, his hand was white, like how you, let's just say you have on socks and you in a rainstorm and you get wet. You know, when you take off your socks, your skin is lighter because the water was there. The sweat from Tyson Fury's palm had turned his wrist straight whiter than himself, pale. So if you deny that, you can deny that all you want. Now in the second fight, I can't say beyond what I saw and what I looked at Wilder. You know what I'm saying? But if he goes out there and loses this third fight, will this, like I say, prove that Tyson Fury cheated? In my opinion, yes. Yes. Now, because you're saying that Deontay Wilder can't fight backing up. You're saying that's how you beat him the first fight, which you were so arrogant and confident and told the public that's what you were going to do. Now, since we know that some of the things that Wilder accused Tyson Fury of, will be checked thoroughly, I'm sure Wilder will be bringing his own water and more. If Wilder goes out there and beats him, to me, yes, it does prove that he cheated. Because if you can back him up and beat him like that the first fight, you should be able to do it again in the third fight. If you can back him up with the confidence you had and told the public, let him know your game plan. You let him know your game plan. If you can still come out there and do the same thing, all that accusation shit, all that cheating shit, I mean, regardless of what we seen on, I know I seen that shit on the first, but from the second fight, all that shit go out the window. And it's just this is a black man telling you this. I'm telling you, Wilder lose, all that accusation shit gonna go out the window with me. It gonna go out the window. I never say an excuse or nothing about Wilder. But if Tyson Fury loses, does this prove that he's a fucking cheater and he cheated that second fight? And not only that, Mark Breland had something to do with that shit. Mark Breland had something to do with that shit. Now, I am still going for Deontay Wilder this fight. Like I said, you can't count out Tyson Fury. This is still Tyson Fury. You know, I think the pressure is really on both of them. You know, Wilder has to prove he can beat Fury dominantly, and Tyson Fury has to prove that it wasn't a fluke or he didn't cheat the second fight. So, y'all come in and y'all let me know how y'all feel about the situation. Thank y'all for y'all love and y'all support for watching the videos. If you want to support the channel, please go to Cash App, PayPal is connected on the channel. I thank y'all. Keep tuning in. This is Easy Work Boxing. I'm out.